What's going on, guys? This is the Red Rogue, and today's going to be a bit of a shorter episode. I decided, after always being a little behind on letting you all know what's going on with beta changes, that I would do a quick little sit-down type video to put out some of the more noteworthy changes so that even if they don't get a video about them, you'll still know more of the behind-the-scenes stuff that's going on. This will eventually be like an on-camera thing, but I'm in the midst of procuring that still, so for now I'll just show you all the cool stuff I've found that has been changed that people might not notice right away or mention. So let's dig into these latest beta changes and see what Blizzard has cooked up this time. This is going to be a bit more of an experimental video, as you folks who regularly watch the channel know that I try to do a lot of testing and on-screen stuff before I put these things up. So let me know what you think in the comments if you have a free moment to do so. This test is also going to be a bit of a short one since this build didn't have a whole lot going on. And a funny little issue that came up with this build, which caused them to take the servers back down, is you can't generate any energy, or fury, or soul shards, or anything right now. Yeah, not even mana. And this is exactly why I'm thankful they postponed the expansion because, whoosh, that's a big mistake. Though it will no doubt be fixed well before this video is even seen, I just figured you guys might get a little laugh out of it. I know I did. So, as both a good and a bad thing, this build doesn't really have many rogue changes going on. At least nothing that's that important. There was a lot of anima power things for Torghast, but eh. That means thankfully there's no major nerfs, but also no buffs or tweaks. Our only relevant rogue change with this latest beta build was that the Sleight of Hand Conduit has been tuned down just a little bit. This was the Conduit that used to be terrible and was changed in the last build to make your Roll the Bones casts have an increased percent chance of rolling multiple buffs. It was originally a 12% chance bonus, but has been dropped down to 10%. Not exactly a huge change, and they did lower it pretty much across the board. The rank 15 version now caps out at a 24% bonus, whereas the original one was 28.8%, so nothing too crazy. The rest of these changes are more general things and new features, so it took a bit of digging through the uncategorized stuff to find them. Until, of course, Wowhead started posting some articles about a few of these things. Sigh. This one is something that'll be interesting to see what becomes of it. The Chronicles of Lost Memories. This currently has not been found in the game, and it was added with this build. Basically, it will be a usable item that gives you a random legendary power effect for your class that you don't already know. It's entirely speculation at this point whether or not this will be something you can get randomly, or purchased, but it will give you a chance for legendary powers that are from content types you don't normally do. For instance, the Finality legendary for Subtlety comes from killing Sire Denathrius, the last boss of Castle Nathria. So if you weren't a raider, then this would give you the chance to get that legendary power still. It definitely sounds interesting, so I'll be keeping an eye on exactly how or when we'll be able to earn this. Probably one of the more noticeable changes that went through is that the new PvP 2-set Trinket bonus has been doubled. For those who don't keep up with PvP, the new PvP vendor has a lot of upgradable gear and specific trinkets you can buy. By wearing 2 PvP trinkets, you'll gain a 40% bonus to the damage and healing benefit that versatility gives you. Also, all PvP purchased gear has versatility on it no matter what, so that basically makes it 40% more powerful on every piece of gear you get from the PvP vendor. This was a 20% bonus prior to this build, so it was quite literally doubled. This sounds like a pretty good change on paper, but there are some big issues with certain trinkets that need tuning from Castle Nathria. For instance, various of the raid trinkets are exceptionally strong burst damage hits, like the Skulker's Wing or the Dreadfire Vessel. Another trinket that has a lot of growing concerns in PvP circles is the Splintered Heart of Alar, which basically gives an 8-minute cheat death proc to any strength or agility wearer, or if someone were to trade it to you, then technically any class. Trinket tuning is still very much up in the air, so I wouldn't go too crazy worrying about stuff like that just yet, simply because there are trinkets that are exceptionally overtuned and contributing to very large percents of overall damage, so I'm sure these will get balanced in some way in capacity for PvP. A slightly smaller change, but Blizzard has decided to change the level requirement cap on Bloodlust drums again. Previously, all the old drums from Battle for Azeroth and prior expansions would not work above level 49, meaning if you didn't plan on buying Shadowlands right away, then you'd be stuck without the usage of any drums at all, since you'd be kept at the level cap of 50. Due to this, we'll still be able to use them going into Shadowlands, though as soon as you hit level 51, they will not affect you anymore. so you probably don't need to keep too many around, but at least your alts will be able to use them still. And Blizzard has also introduced new versions of the fancy Darkmoon Feast and the Lemon Herb Fillet food items, since they are level capping the old ones at 50. Unfortunately, these new ones will work just like regular food, meaning they don't give back 10% of your health and mana while eating, just the standard 50,000 health and 40,000 mana over 20 seconds, which is pretty normal for all the Shadowlands food items. They also give what looks to be a 30 versatility buff, but for only 20 minutes, which makes it worse than regular 30 versatility food in Shadowlands, so I don't see this as being used for much other than it makes you look fancy when you eat the food. Oh well, that's a shame, as the Lemon Herb Fillets and Darkmoon Feasts were quite useful in Mythic Plus dungeons. There were quite a lot of changes for other classes and specs, of course, but for rogue-oriented things or more general stuff, this was a pretty slim build. I'll be curious to see what lies in store for us in the next one, if anything. I hope this little update on the development process of the Shadowlands beta was interesting to you. Again, let me know in the comments what you think of this sort of video, as it's not quite my usual method of displaying information. If you're interested in more hands-on stuff and you're new around to my little corner of the YouTube algorithm, then I recommend checking out the rest of the channel. I do new uploads every week down a variety of content, covering things such as beta updates, guides, add-on videos, weak auras, and plenty of rogue-specific stuff. I'd also like to thank all of my regular viewers, commenters, subscribers, and especially my patrons for helping make the Shiba Shenanigans possible. Thank you all so much for watching. This is the Red Rogue, and I'll see you guys around.